Hey everybody, it's Grant, and today I'm sharing with you my latest rental property purchase. I'm also going to share in this video how I bought a 2,600 square foot house that's worth over $300,000 for less than half. I'm going to also share with you that the little fixes we did to get it rent ready and rent ready fast, there was hardly any cost involved. We did one little luxury fix, and that was something I'll explain later in the video. And I'm also going to talk about what this property would be worth if I 100% renovated it and put it back on the market. Come with me. Like I told you before, this is a 2,600 square foot with a garage, 4-bedroom, beautiful home. However, we have one thing that was killing this house deal: time on the market with a motivated seller. Ended up looking at this property many times over the last few months because it's actually relatively close to where I currently live and the new house that I'm building. This house sits right next to Nelson Road, which is the most prime real estate here in Lake Charles, Louisiana. This house had a roof repair that the homeowner was like, they can fix it, I'm not doing it. And they were not necessarily in a bind for cash, but let's be honest, in a bind for cash. They didn't fix this, the shrubs were terrible, there was things overgrown, and it looked absolutely horrible. The fence was also falling down, and the deal just didn't feel right. Pro tip right here: most homeowners that are coming to buy your property don't have the money to renovate it. So when you actually going to sell it to somebody to renovate it, they need a big old haircut on this deal to be able to go do that work, put in that effort, and not be able to just move right in. So this house was originally put on the market for still a relatively good deal at $260,000. That would only be $100 a foot, mind you, on this property. However, it sat and it sat and it sat, and honestly, I didn't want it. I walked through it. The floor plan's big and it's nice, but just the way it looked was tough. And for $260,000, I'll buy something brand new that's a little smaller but quite a bit nicer. And they dropped the price and they dropped the price, and I still didn't personally want it. However, they kept dropping the price until it hit my radar. I finally offered him a crazy deal, and he rejected it, but I told him, think about it, mull it over, and let me know. I'll always be here. Not saying my offer's always good, but I told him the offer's still relatively good. Just call me if it's 2 years later, I need to relook at it, and I'm always gonna be a buyer depending on the market. So also in my judgment, I let him know that, hey, you have damage, we had those hurricanes, and you're still within the time frame to go ahead and pursue that insurance company, and he did. I know him well enough, and his agent and I know each other, so basically what happened was I guided him in the purchase, but I did make a mistake. This is also a deal that cost me over $200,000 because I didn't buy the property when I saw it, get this thing going with my attorneys, and get me my own personal property settlement. So I did make a huge mistake on this property, but it still turned out fine. When we started doing these negotiations, I didn't wait till greed set in. We went ahead and negotiated that I would get 50% of the claim, whatever it ended up being, and I would pay $175,000 for the property. Now, what ended up happening, where we started at 100% of the claim, and we ended up at 50% of the claim, and then we ended up settling at 30% of the claim when greed set in. I didn't have really a leg to stand on besides a small contract that we did. I'd have to fight him in court for many years. So I did allow him to keep 70% of his insurance claim, which was quite sizable. But I still got $40,000 on top of my really good deal to start with. I bought this house for $175,000, but I received a check from his attorney. That was my portion of his insurance settlement of $40,000. So my actual investment in this house, $135,000. It is an absolute deal with already $130,000 built-in equity that I could turn around and sell this house in a heartbeat. However, I'm renting it to my assistant, Barbara, so that way she can be close to me, makes it easier and not having to drive all the way over the bridge. I got a good deal. I'm paying it forward to her as well. She gets a lot bigger space because she has just as many dogs as I do and helps me with mine tremendously. So, now that you've heard the deal, I'm gonna tell you about the mortgage, why I rent it for what I rented at, and then we'll do a quick property tour. So being that the tenant is actually my assistant, Miss Barbara, and Mr. Ricky, they let me come in here, so I'm not gonna intrude too much, but I do appreciate them letting you see this beautiful kitchen, beautiful house, and let's talk about the actual mortgage, the deal, and why I rent it for so cheap to her, as well as the services that she provides my company. So if you can't hear the reason why I give her such a good deal, she has just as many dogs as I do. She helps me with mine and Some of mine actually live here now because it was just so hard as a single parent of 10 to take care of all of them. I come visit them. This house is literally 1 block away from mine, 2 blocks away from mine. And here's the numbers. The mortgage on this house with a 3.5 rate before everything went sky high. I didn't get the best rate at the time, but I definitely didn't get a rate that it is now. 30-year fixed mortgage at $628 a month. Insurance on this house, because it is a pure home. It is a garage, it's a very large home, and it's got some age to it. I don't think it's super old, but it's also not super new. This house cost me $2,800 a month on insurance. That's like $233 right there. Then you're gonna have maintenance, upkeep, and everything else. So let's just call the note with everything, including $200 a month in taxes, if not a little less, about $1,200 a month in cost, right? So having that, now Miss Barbara takes care of the house, she takes care of her utility bill, she takes care of everything else, and the property management fee is between me and Brett as well. But here's the thing, we actually manage our own properties, but Brett does have a salary. And when you factor in property management costs, even though me and Brett manage our properties ourselves with Miss Barbara's help, which is the house we're in, that's about another $100 because Brett has salaries, she has salaries, and it factors into the portfolio. So that's about $1,300 in total cost in this unit. I rent it to her for $1,000 a month. The reason I think that this is perfectly okay is because why have all this success if you can't help out somebody that's close to you? Why not do a house that's going to give her all the room she possibly could need? Make sure she's close enough to me where she's not burning a ton of money on gas. And why not do something nice for someone that takes care of you probably better than most of your family ever did? So I am losing money on this property, but I am 100% okay with that because Miss Barbara works for me. She's on salary. She's at my house every single day. And why not give her a $2,000 or $2,400 home for half price, because I got a good deal on it as well. So I'm paying my deal forward, and if I ever decide to sell this house or she moves into something else, then I can't wait to show you what the remodel and the value would be when we're done. So let me show you the 2 main issues in this house. They're very, very small and very, very simple. We didn't add these cool countertops. We didn't redo this kitchen. We didn't paint the walls. Everything's pretty nice. It also has a very nice floor. The floor wasn't perfect, but for that $1,000 a month, I wasn't gonna redo all the floors and do all this craziness. And it works out where there's a spare room that actually leads to where all the dogs will stay, as well as you can hear them. I'm sure you can hear the life in this house. There's probably 10 dogs or 12 dogs in this house. All right, so right here, this part of the cabinet had actually fallen forward a little bit. Brett, you actually took care of that, right? All right, Brett and George, I know they spent some time over here getting these things fixed up. So we got that put back. But I'm telling you, these little small things, when a person that's going to buy this house, there was a roof issue. So you don't fix the roof issue, you don't put a new roof on, people are stressed out because they want to pay for it. You have a cabinet hanging, they're like, what else is wrong? But truth be told, these little small fixes, along with the next one I'm going to show you, cost this person over $160,000. And they got lucky because they ended up getting an insurance settlement. But hey, it would have been a whole lot better, to the tune of like 400 grand. The last issue of the house, really and truly, and the only other issue was right here. There's like a little bit of a bubble on the floor. It's not really that major. We had it checked out structurally. We actually made sure we were going to re-level the house, and they said that wouldn't fix it. So if we ever go to sell the house, what'll end up happening, or if it ever gets worse, we'll actually have to rip up this flooring, try to match it or completely replace it, and cut out the floor right here, and then redo it like we did in the LaGrange house that you'll see in future videos and in past videos in the past. So actually we have the dogs around us. I'll show you all that in just one second. But yeah, this is also, things are harder to do whenever you have this many animals. All right, so here's what's gonna happen. The very last part of this video, after you've seen this beautiful property tour, you heard about this amazing, crazy deal, you've seen the cool patio and the building in the back. There's so much to this house and this spacious backyard. Let's talk about with this heavy breathing. I hope you can hear it because I miss all this heavy breathing all the time, even though I still have 4 at my house. But let's talk about what would happen if I renovated this property right now. If I put about $30,000 to $50,000 in this property, the reason I give you that range is because when I start a property, I end up putting a little bit too much money into it. And this fence was right at, Brett, probably 9,000, 8,000? I don't remember exactly what it was, but that's about the number. It's in my brain. But it's a huge, spacious, very private fence that allows the tenants to have amazing, privacy. The dogs have so much room. It's on over a half acre. Hey, sweetheart. Hey, sweetheart. And so here's the thing. If I go ahead and renovate this property, instead of selling it for $110 a square foot, I'll sell it between $150 to $160 a square foot, which is still a great deal, move-in ready, beautiful. We'll add some paint to the front, make sure we add some cool accents, landscape it, change all the floors, make sure we paint the cabinets to make everything look that beautiful. Beautiful updated look. and end up being able to sell it for right around just under $400,000. When you buy something for $135,000, you put $50,000 into it, so that puts us at what, $185,000, and you're able to sell it for just under 400,000 bucks. That's what this channel's about. That's what showing you real estate's about. Understand, I don't buy deals that are sitting on the market for 1 or 2 days. I'll put in an offer to see if you're paying attention, but I am not emotionally attached. I barely look at it. I go make sure it's just cosmetic. I make sure it's nice. And if it is nice, I know you're about to get 7 or 8 offers, so I try to not get emotionally attached when it's so pretty. And when that house sits on the market for just a little bit longer, 100 days, 200 days, my offers start coming more frequently. I still don't get emotionally attached, and I make sure I'm watching the market like a hawk to buy these deals. If you don't feel like fixing your roof, I will. But after you can't pay that mortgage anymore, I'll come buy it for a very discounted rate. And guess what? Works out way better for me, and at least you get out from underneath your home. Guys, if you're ever gonna list a home, make sure you list it move-in ready, because if you don't, those issues will cost you hundreds, if not just thousands of dollars. So all that being said, we don't do outros anymore. This is still kind of an outro, but I will see you later. I believe in you. Bye.